Hello everyone, and welcome back to Banjo Tooie on the Nintendo 64. I am One More Sheep yet again, and today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to begin things off by doing a little bit of backtracking, starting off with Glitter Gulch Mine, because there's Jiggy right up here behind the wall. Why is it always behind the waterfall that there's a secret? It's every single game! Like, almost every single game that I've played, if there's a waterfall, there's a secret behind it. Is it just a thing that happens now? I digress. Anyway, yes, we are doing a little bit of backtracking, so we just popped on back to Glitter Gulch Mine real quick, and we're gonna start moving on to other places as well. What can I tell you, ladies and gentlemen? What can I tell you? Indeed. Yes. Now, moving on back to Witchy World as well, we do need to go a solo Banjo in order to pick up the fat kid that we left as well previously to send him off basically to his mother, who's waiting for him right at the beginning of the world. So, I always advise sort of trying to get this done now, because I think it may affect the next world, but I'm not entirely sure, and if it does affect the next world, it might be something minor, but, you know, I just like to get this out of the way as soon as I physically can, you know, ladies and gentlemen. But, yeah, just basically pull the fat kid out of your backpack. How he fits in there is absolutely beyond me, and there we go. What can I tell you? But we aren't exactly done with Witchy World just yet either, ladies and gentlemen, because we do have a little bit extra to deal with as well after the factory goes. Because if you recall, there is a quest in Pterodactyl Land that we are yet to complete involving the cavemen who are hungry. Well, we can actually deal with them now because we actually have the ability from Grunty's Industries to go up to a different alternate exit to this world that leads us to Pterodactyl Land. And for some reason, it is the only exit in the entirety of Pterodactyl Land that doesn't take your food away from you, and I don't understand this. I mean, I understand it for a gameplay, you know, from a gameplay perspective, like you need to go this way to solve the puzzle, but I don't know, I always considered it to be quite a weird, I don't know, I've always considered it to be quite weird, but, I digress. Anyway, popping on to the big tent here. It's just head on all the way up to, well, basically to the burger guy because we need to get the food. And we can't feed cavemen thin air, can we? Yes. This is something you will need to make sure that you do when you re-enter this world, because it's very easy to come back into the world and then not pick up food from these vendors because you'll forget entirely about them. So just be sure to go out of your way to grab these things because, well, you need it, basically. You need the burgers. You need the burgers and fries, yo. I'm starving. Why didn't I start recording this part? I should have done food first, but I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. What can I tell you? Then again, there's no food in the house by here now, so I guess I can't really do much except for record this part and maybe go out and pick something up in a bit. But, you know, for the time being, let's just move on up to this tightrope sequence. And of course, like I said, you needed to beat Grunty's Industries first because we need these suction cup boots I always forget the name of in order to gain access to the exit and basically move all your way down to the beginning of the world. And there is actually, you fiend! There's actually a little pathway you can climb up. Now, one thing you'll also need to remember is also to remember to press the switch in Pterodactyl Land as well. Because otherwise, well, good luck doing this mission, because obviously you can't get into Pterodactyl Land with, without the gate being open, can you? It'd be a shame if you couldn't get in here because you completely forgot. It just means more backtracking. So be sure to do that as well when you first enter. But to feed all these cavemen guys, you just basically walk up to them and push the B button and they'll initiate a cutscene. If the game lets me, Kazooie, please stop burning their face off. We're trying to feed them food. There we go. I don't know why, this guy was being really picky. The NPCs are usually not that picky with me talking to him, but this guy in particular just he's like, no, you need to stand in this right specific spot in order to feed me your food. Hoi. But of course, just feed all three of the cavemen the food and you know, problem solved. You only ever need to grab one piece of food from Witchy World as well. So you don't actually need to go back to what you were to pick up more food to feed these guys, which honestly I appreciate. I really do appreciate that. It makes it so backtracking isn't too much of a chore. Like, even though I would prefer the backtracking in this game to be done, like, not at all. I prefer there to be no backtracking. I don't mind it too much because they do make the backtracking convenient. They do make it real easy to go back to the levels, bada bing, bada boom, just finish off what you need to. So it's not too bad. I do appreciate that they made it easy to backtrack to these places, but personally, I would still prefer, complete everything in the level, then move on, that sort of approach to things. But of course, considering how they designed this game, that would be the game would end up being completely different if they did it in that way, so I don't know. But either way, with that, we've fed all 3 of the cavemen in the Oogle Boogle Cave. And of course, our reward is a fantastic Jiggy. The camera went a bit squiff then. What's interesting though is, yeah, why are there teeth marks on it? I love the dialogue in this game. Like, I probably have mentioned this before, but the Rareware has always been known for having this really witty dialogue in their games, and it shows in this game as well. Like, why are there teeth marks on it? We thought it was chocolate. Oh. Which, to be fair, is potentially a fair thing you'd think the cavemans would do, because, well, they do make chocolate coins and whatnot that have the gold wrapping. It makes sense, in a way. But anyway, now that we have the snooze pack ability as well, we can actually move on through the stomping plains as Banjo alone. Which, it still really annoys me that it's impossible to get through this without getting hit. That does drive me bloody mad, but, well, at least I think it's impossible. It could probably, like, maybe there is a way to reach each of these holes in the ground quick enough, but if there is a way, I've never been able to find it out. So oh Jesus Christ, I got wrecked then. So it annoys me that we need the snooze pack ability for this, because it's something it's not completely apparent from the beginning, because you'll think, oh, maybe I can just run straight across, but no, you can't. And that's a little bit cryptic, but Also kind of annoys me with the giant foot crushing down on you, because when you see that foot, if you touch it even once, you're gonna get hurt. And I don't know, that annoys me. Like, if you accidentally jump into the foot, even though the foot is still landed and that shouldn't technically hurt you, it still does. So, stuff like that happens, and it's a little bit annoying. What can I tell you? What can I tell you? Indeed. Yes. Now, I am backtracking to do this right now. Honestly, I probably could have saved the entirety of the Stomping Plains until this point, because, I need to get across here with both Banjo and Kazooie anyway, so I could have probably saved doing this until now, all of this until now, but I figured, you know what, I might as well get everything I can do in the world done at the beginning, But I digress. With that, there is another fantastic Jiggy in Hailfire Peaks. What? Okay. And if anyone actually recalls, Hailfire Peaks was a level we actually previously accessed, and it was a preview level that we accessed way earlier on in the LP. But get used to seeing this place, folks, because spoiler alert, the next world is Hailfire Peaks, and it's actually a really interesting level because Hailfire Peaks has a little bit of history to it involving Banjo-Kazooie 1, and I don't know how true this is, right? So to take what I say with a grain of salt, I could be spouting complete bullshit, but I have read up somewhere online that apparently Hailfire Peaks was originally meant to be Mount Fire Eyes, which was a level that was scrapped from the original Banjo-Kazooie game, and it kind of feels like that in a way, because the level is actually split up into 2 halves. The first half being a fire half, and the second half being a ice half, which I'll talk a little bit more about when we actually get into the stage. And each individual half of Hailfire Peaks doesn't feel like a Banjo Tooie sized level. Each half feels like a Banjo Kazooie sized level, but they combine the two halves of the thing into like a massive stage, you know, ladies and gentlemen. So it's one of those weird, levels where it kind of feels like a level from the first game, but it also feels completely new as well, if you get what I mean. I'm probably spouting entirely bullshit to you, but either way, let's just finish up this starting jigsaw puzzle and be on our way to entering this stage. And by the way, this is one of my favorite stages in the game just to explore. I love the aesthetics of this level. I love the way the stage looks. I love just the atmosphere of the whole place. It looks magnificent. What can I tell you, ladies and gentlemen? What can I tell you? Indeed. Yes. I still can't get over how we I honestly cannot get over how we enter each of these levels. We just blow the levels up. I mean, come on now. Honestly, I can't complain it's too extreme, because my shindig in almost every game I get is, can I blow stuff up? If yes, then I love this game in most cases. Because obviously you have the cases where the games are terrible. Okay, in the case of good games, when I see things that are explosives, and I can do anything I want with the explosives, it makes me feel a little tingly inside. What can I tell you, ladies and gentlemen? Yes. But before we head on in to Hailfire Peaks for realsies, we're going to take these boots because there is an extra Jinjo that we need to collect way over yonder. And this is actually one of the easier Jinjos in the game to miss, because it's very easy to forget that these power-ups are there. So, you know, keep an eye out for the power-ups and grab the Jinjo as soon as you can. Bada bing, bada boom. Hail to the yeah. And we are actually getting up closer and closer to the end game now, folks, as well. Like, this is the penultimate stage. I kid you not, this is the stage before the final level. So we're getting close to beating this game once and for all. And, you know, it sort of shows in the Jinjo counts, because from this point onwards, we're going to start seeing the Jinjos drop off. You're going to see a lot of the Jinjos just be collected, and all of the Jinjo families be completely done, you know, ladies and gentlemen. But hey, Gobi! 2 years of waiting, and he's finally made it to the lava world. And do not worry, folks, we will be dealing with Gobi a bit later on. Now, if we don't save Gobi in Witchy World, he will not appear in this cutscene. This cutscene will not play, and it will only play when you do save him. So, you know, just go out of your way to save Gobi. He's in your way in Witchy World anyway, so you might as well do it. But, yeah, we're going to be using Gobi for a little bit of a puzzle a tiny bit later on. But this is Hailfire Peaks, or what I like to call a bloody destruction of my N64, because this level, the N64 is being pushed to its absolute limit. And I have always said that Grunty's Industries was one of those levels where the frame rate goes to pot. Well, this stage makes Grunty's Industries look like a bloody next generation title in terms of frame rate. It's ridiculous how low the frame rate gets in this. It goes into single digits sometimes. It's quite a shame. But the major gimmick of this world is we do have a massive dragon on top of the mountain. And he's basically going to shoot fireballs at us constantly until we kill him. And this is one of those stages where I normally don't leave the boss until the last thing I do, because I can leave the boss to the last thing I do in the stage, but the stage becomes really bloody pain in the ass to, you know, to accomplish when you have fireballs shooting at you every few seconds, you know. So I generally like to take care of the dragons quite quickly. But hey, we're in the first world of the game? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the very rare instances in Banjo Tooie where you can actually take your transformation into different worlds. You can actually take the Stony transformation into Hailfire Peaks. And why would you want to do that, you may ask? Well, the solution as to why is quite obvious, really. It's a kickball stadium. it's time for us to play some footy, yo. And of course, Stonies are still the ones that manage the kickball games, which means, you know, the only way they'll let us actually play in the professional kickball tournament is if we are ourselves a Stony, you know, ladies and gentlemen. But generally, the same sort of rules apply to previously, you know, you go into each of these gates, you beat the stage, blah, 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 3 rounds later, and you win a jiggy. It's the same sort of idea behind it. But things are a little bit different from the get-go, yo. Because what is different this time is the fact that, actually, I can't remember what is different. I think it might actually be very much the same. Oh, there we go. That's what's different. Lowest points win, basically. So, we are playing this in golf rules, ladies and gentlemen. We're trying to kick our balls into the enemy goals and trying to keep the enemies from kicking the balls into our goals. That's basically what it works as. My brain shut off for a split second. I completely forgot that was the rules of this one. So yeah, lower score wins. That's basically what you need to remember with this. So what I advise is basically stand by your goal and do nothing. No, seriously, that's what I recommend. Just stand by the goal, do nothing, and wait for a ball to come your way. Just block the ball. Kick it into an enemy goal, bada bing, bada boom. Now, one thing that is kind of awkward about this one is if you tie with any of the other kickball players, you lose. So the game's a little bit unfair in that regard. So you know, if you get a tie, that's it. You need to redo the mission again. And I never understood that. It's kind of stupid. You'd think they would have some sort of sudden death sort of idea behind things. So, you know, if you tie, you'd have to kick into their goal before they kick in yours. That would have been a good idea instead of just, oh, you automatically lose because you tied. Ugh. But anyway, this is basically a reverse version of the previous mission. Now, instead, we have to go out of our goal to grab all of the red balls and basically kick them all into our goal before the time runs out. You know, basically the lowest score again loses. That's basically all there is to it. You know, it's easy peasy lemon squeezy still to do. It's just, it could possibly take you a couple of attempts to do this one because the enemy AI is a little bit cheeky at times. A little bit cheeky, so, you know, just basically stay around the top half of the area I usually recommend and just grab any red balls that spawn in and just kick them into your own goal. Bada bing, bada boom, you know, ladies and gentlemen. And, you know, this mission can be extremely tight. So, you know, you do need to keep the wits about you. You do need to go mad collecting those red balls. But, you know, if you know what you're doing, you shouldn't have too much trouble at all. And much like you'd expect, the third mission... Ah, my face! Why? The third mission of, this kickball stadium is basically... I'm pausing because I can't remember. I'll find out now in a second when we actually start this. I always get the kickball, mission objectives backwards. Okay, so it's basically the first mission again, except everything's a little bit more difficult, so... Just stick by your goal again, same tactics as before. Although, you probably want to go out of your way and grab the red balls whenever possible because, well... The enemies are quite, shall we say... What's the word? They're quite offensive, ladies and gentlemen. So, you know, you want to try and stick to your goal as much as possible. Kick the reds in as much as possible. And Jesus Christ, I don't like how, close this is getting. There we go. Sometimes you can get really, really fortunate and really lucky with this minigame as well, which I do appreciate, where sometimes all the reds will spawn right next to you, which makes things a great deal easier, but, you know, I managed to pull that one off without too much trouble after a little bit of fiddling at the start. But, yeah, we are now the new kickball champion. Whoop-de-doo. Of course, we get a trophy. This is a collectathon. We wouldn't do nothing for nothing. We wouldn't do all that work for nothing. What can I tell you? But anyway, I digress. But that is it for this part. So thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Don't be sheepish, people, and I'll catch you all next time. Bye!